Okay, so we have a short lesson this week, but it's going to be full of information, practical information that you can apply right away to your playing, whether you're learning how to improvise or you're jamming with other people or even trying to write your own music. And it's really all around rhythm and fill lick ideas. And these are all tied to some basic chord shapes that you already know. Your A shape, your E shape, and your D shape. If you already know how to play those chord shapes, you're sort of halfway there. So this is really designed to be something that just about anyone can do. And you don't have to play this with a jam track. That's another added bonus. So as we're learning how to do this, this is something that you can practice on your own, acoustic or electric guitar, standard tuning. And so basically, I've got the lesson split into two parts. So in this video, we're going to go through everything that I played in the intro, note for note. We'll break it all down, and that'll be learning how to play this song in the key of A. However, if you're a premium member, I break down how to play this in the key of C, which is showing you how to do it without any open strings so that you can easily transpose and play it in any key. And so that's an extra thing that you get as a premium member. You also have access to the tablature for both the key of A, which we're going to learn in this video, and the key of C. So you get those extra tabs as well. So if you're interested in that, you can go to activemelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and do a search for EP464. Okay, so this song that we're going to be learning is in the key of A, and it's three chords. An A chord, which is your 1 chord, an E chord, which is your 5 chord, so it goes from the 1 chord to the 5 chord. Then it'll go back to the 1 chord, and then at some point it goes to the D chord, which is our 4 chord. But basically that's it, A, E, and D. Those are your main chords that we're going to be using. And this is a call and response style of playing where the call is going to be a lick, and then the response is a rhythm or a chord. So you have a lick and then a chord that follows it. And I love doing these kinds of lessons. I've been doing them for years. If you like this kind of call and response thing, you can go to Active Melody and check out, just do a search for response, the word response, and you'll see lots of call and response things that I've done. Anyway, we're going to be playing this first lick off of this A chord. So this is the first thing. I want you to make this A chord. That's where we bar the first 4 strings on the 2nd fret. And we play strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. That's our A chord, and that's the A chord shape. But this lick, I want you to connect that lick to this chord shape. And here's what makes that easy is your major pentatonic scale, pattern 1, major pentatonic scale, is right there, right? And then your chord is right there. So your chord is actually inside of major pentatonic scale pattern 1. Now I know I've covered that many times, and some of you already know that. Probably most of you already know that, but there's somebody out there that is realizing that for the first time. And it's a big deal when you realize that, oh, off of this chord shape, I've got the major pentatonic scale pattern 1. So that means if I'm playing that chord shape here, so I'm playing still the A shape, but I'm playing a C chord, I've got C major pentatonic scale pattern 1, which means I can do licks, right? You start to connect your licks to your chords, and it like opens up everything. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to learn goes like this. Right? That's our first lick. We're going to slide with our ring finger from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on that 5th string. To just pay attention to that. Be thinking about that major pentatonic scale pattern 1. That's where these are coming from. And then we go up to the 4th string. We'll play 2nd fret, and then we do a hammer on to the 4th fret. So we have a little box there, right? Now watch this. So this note, we're going to come down to the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Now I realize that note is not in the major pentatonic scale for A, but it is in the minor pentatonic scale for A. It's just this little kind of, it's almost like a passing note that gives it a little bit of bluesy feel just by touching on it. So we're going to keep the bar there on that 2nd fret, and we're going to play a hammer on this, a hammer on between the 3rd fret and the 4th fret on the 5th string, and then an upstroke on the 3rd string, which is behind that bar there on the 2nd fret. So, and then the last part of that is just to hit the open 5th string. So all together, that lick goes like this. That's the call. And hopefully you can see where that's coming from. Major pentatonic scale. Pattern 1. And then after that, we have the little rhythm part. Now, we're going to play the A chord there. So it starts with the open 5th string. And you strum the chord. And then I'm going to play this, which is our 4 chord. That's our D chord. And then back to the 1 chord, back to the A. And to play that, instead of playing the D chord like this, we're going to play it like this, where we keep the bar on that 2nd fret, but we put our middle finger down on the 3rd fret 2nd string, and then we put our ring finger on the 4th fret 4th string. And we play strings 4, 3, and 2, those middle 4. And then we go back to the A chord. So you have... Now this, going to the 4 chord and back to the 1 chord, is something that's commonly used in blues. I think of it in gospel quite a bit. It's just something to do. Keep that in mind. If you're hanging out on a chord for an extended period of time, even as short of a period of time as that was, you can do that. You can pivot between the 1 chord and the 4 chord. You can go back and forth. It's just something that kind of fills the space in a very creative way. Now we're going to go to the E chord. Watch this. Now it starts off exactly the same. That's exactly the same. That's kind of Green Acres, right? It's kind of got that Green Acres vibe. And then we're going to go 4, 2 on the 5th string. And then we're going to come down with our middle finger, this time to the 6th string though, on the 3rd fret. Pull it up a little bit, just a little sharp. And then down to that E note. That's just like a little transition note there. You can also think of that note as being in the E minor pentatonic scale. Right? So it kind of, doing that sort of pulls you into that minor vibe. So you have a... And then we play our E chord. Now we're going to hang out on the E chord for a little bit of time, and I'm going to play back to the E chord. Now let me explain what this is. First of all, we're going to slide up to the 6th fret on the 4th string, and then index finger on the 4th fret 3rd string. So you have, and I did that twice. Slide back to the 4th fret, and then back to the 2nd fret on the 4th string. Now this is really coming out of your E chord up here. Think of the E chord using the C shape out of Cage. It would look like that, right? Well, these 2 notes are in that chord. That's how I think of it. And so when I'm picturing, when I'm playing a lead like this and I'm hanging out on a chord for a little bit of time, all these E chord voicings start to light up. So I picture one up here, all these little triads, right? There it is using the D shape. Here's your C shape. So anyway, what that means is I can go into any of those and just play 2 notes out of any of those. So I could go, right? That's a fill lick, and it's really just based on the chord shape. So this one that I'm playing here is coming out of that C chord shape. Hopefully you get that, right? So and then I think I threw in my pinky there on that 3rd fret 2nd string to make it an E7. And then we go back to the A chord. It's exactly the same lick, really, as the starting lick, except it starts up here. I slide up to the, it's really just a note in the chord, but it's the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. And then we go back down, 4, 2, and then the little cowboy lick, and then back to the chord. So, let's take it from the beginning and play it up to that point. Okay, so at this point, the song just repeats itself. So we go back to the A chord. And what I played there, a lot of this is similar to the way we started, but this time I'm going to do a little bend here on the 4th fret 3rd string. So it's a bend and release. And it's a bend, and then you play the note without the bend. That's 4th fret 3rd string. And again, it's major pentatonic scale, pattern 1. Down to the 2nd fret. Then we're going to do the same 2 frets, but on the 4th string. Little cowboy lick. And then there's your upstroke on your 3rd string, which is behind the 2nd fret. Now watch this. I threw in the A7 there. So while I've got the bar there, I just put my ring finger on the 3rd fret 1st string, which makes that an A7. Why did I do that? Because I'm going into the 4 chord. And a leading tone is to play the 7. Like whatever I'm playing, if I'm playing the 1 chord and I'm going to the 4 chord, you just play the 7, the dominant 7 of that 1 chord. So in this case it would be an A7. It's a nice transition to get you to pull you into that 4 chord. So and then watch this. Play that lick to get us into the 4 chord. Now a lot of this is played between that 2nd fret and the 4th fret. You can see a lot of shared notes here. But really what this would be like the D major pentatonic scale. It'd be like pattern 4 of your D major pentatonic scale. So it's slide from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 4th string. And then we come up to the 3rd string and play 2, 4, 2. So we have, and then we go back to the 4th fret 4th string and then walk it down. So it's chromatically walked down. So it's 4, 3, 2, open 4th string, which is your D note. And when I was playing there, I'll be honest with you, the one note I was really thinking about was that D note, the open D string. Anything else I did, I wasn't putting as much emphasis on, but I knew I needed to land there. So I could have done something like, right? Or these are all just D major pentatonic scale licks, major pentatonic scale pattern 4. But in my mind, I've connected that pattern 4 to this D chord shape here. So if I'm playing that chord shape anywhere, if I was playing an E chord, right? I've got, so I could play, all right? And that is just another example of taking those chord shapes and starting to work licks out of them. Okay. That's how we got to the D. Let's back it up and play up to that point in the song just so we can get our reference. Okay, so now we go back to the A. And to do that, it's just, again, 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And then we go, and then we do the same thing, but play it on the 4th string. But to do that, I think the way I played that was I went ahead and barred there, because I was just thinking of the A chord, right? So I went ahead and played strings 4 and 3. So it's, play the A chord, then to the 5 chord, which is our E, and then the last lick goes, and this lick, let me show you how to play it first. So I'm sliding up to the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then the 5th fret 2nd string with my middle finger. Down to the 4th fret 3rd string, down to the 2nd fret 3rd string. So it's like this. And then 4, 2 on the 4th string, and then the 2nd fret 3rd string. So, and then I went ahead and hit that, you know, the 5th string, basically into the song there. You could go like this. A little bluesy ending there. It's just an A7. Slide into it. But this lick is an A major pentatonic scale, but we're coming up into pattern 2. So remember, we started, everything was pattern 1. All right, and we connected it to that A chord shape here. Pattern 2 would be up here, but you can connect that to your A chord using the E shape. Hopefully a light bulb goes off at this point where you realize, oh, these two notes are in that triad, that A triad. It's just the top part of your bar chord. So you can think, if we're thinking chord shapes, you got your A chord using the E shape, and then we're going down to the A chord using the A shape. So you got, right? And there's sort of like connective tissue in between these two chord shapes, which is that major pentatonic scale. Now, don't get too caught up in the styles. This has kind of a country style. And I always like to say that because somebody always will email and say, you're doing too much country or too much blues or whatever. But you can take these principles and apply them. If you're more of a blues player, you can play everything we've just learned. This is major pentatonic stuff. All right? These are all licks that you already know. Right, so you can work that into the blues as well, just as easily. You just change up the rhythm a little bit to sort of accommodate. But hopefully you're starting to get the idea that these licks, these simple little fill licks, are just connected to chord shapes. So as long as you can see the chord shapes, then you can see the licks. All right, well, hopefully you've enjoyed this and picked up a few ideas. Leave a comment. I always love it when you leave comments. I read through them all. And let me know if any of this sort of stuck with you, or if you've got some ideas in addition to this. That's always helpful as well. Otherwise, if you're a premium member, we'll see you in the second video where we go over how to play this in the key of C. All right, we'll see you next week for something new.